revamped their lineups after last year.
Last year, the same scenario for this game. When they hooked up in net, Mike, Robert Brickey was out and Greg Kubek got a chance to start and got 16 points. Maybe this is an omen for Brian Davis. Dick Paparo getting more airtime. He gets more airtime than Johnny Carson. I mean, every game you see on TV, Paparo's throwing the ball up.
Mackey with the tip. Leitner controls. Smart play by Leitner.
Man-to-man defense, they really like to slough. They'll pressure the ball and try to zone basically inside out of their man-to-man.
Hurley is being guarded by Barry and now Anderson. This is Leitner. Got some range on the shot. Hurley on the switch. Davis, drive, double team, got around it, missed the shot. Reach-in foul on Leitner.
Have to be very careful to get Christian Leitner. Right now, he can't afford to get into foul trouble because they really aren't deep on that baseline. In fact, they're not a big team after Leitner.
Especially with the loss of Hill to the injury. And here comes one of the greatest players of all time, quite literally, Kenny Anderson, guarded by Hurley, who is a tenacious defender.
Hurley loves the challenge of playing against Kenny Anderson.
Malcolm Mackey low with Leitner, 32 against 32, and a reach-in steal by Davis.
Good aggressive play by Davis, hopping the ball out.
McCaffrey starting in the backcourt. McCaffrey got off to a fast start this year, then hurt an ankle. He's been limited ever since.
Yeah, hasn't really been starting since the Michigan game when he injured that ankle.
Leitner with a runner in the lane, doesn't get the roll. Rebound goes to Mackey, but reached in and knocked away by Brian Davis, the junior out of Capitol Heights, Maryland.
Duke really doesn't have a great rebounding team. When you look at the size they have across the front, you can see why, other than Leitner. And Leitner's really a finesse player, but he really has improved his rebounding totals. Are up to 10 a game now.
Anderson so quick. There's the help.
That's the ball screen they like to set for Anderson.
Ivano Newbill with the shot. Can't get the roll. Fight for the rebound. Duke. Here comes McCaffrey.
Duke not pushing the ball up the court. I'd expect him to run the ball up the court a little quicker. I think the key also is you have to make Anderson play some defense.
And he excels in the up-tempo game, too.
Notice how he's playing off Hurley. One of the real raps on Bobby Hurley. The ability to shoot the perimeter shot on a consistent basis.
Leitner likes the baseline jumper. Air ball. Taken down by Newbill. Anderson on the run. That great burst of speed over Hurley. Can't hit it.
He's got that tremendous stride. He's got great control of the basketball.
We played 2:10, no score here at Duke.
Really surprised with the tempo of the game. The pace of the game right now early has been more a half-court game than the up-and-down tempo I anticipated.
McCaffrey had the shot taken away from him, and then the great feed to Davis.
Christian Leitner with the good look downtown.
Anderson ahead of the pack, couldn't get a shot. Excuse me, that was Hill, couldn't get his shot. Barry. Oh, got a nice screen, but great help defense by Duke. They play this man-to-man as well as anybody. And that is Brian Hill with the travel.
The one thing you want to do against Georgia Tech, you want to pressure the other four players. The reason you want to pressure them, Mike, they really don't have the ball a great deal in their hands. They're not accustomed to having the basketball, as opposed to Kenny Anderson, who's having the ball constantly in his hands.
And you end up standing around a lot in that situation, don't you, Dick?
Yeah, you become the Kodak man. Take some pictures, baby. You say, do it, Kenny.
Leitner offensive rebound off the miss of Bobby Hurley, and it's 4-0 Blue Devils.
Christian Leitner with that good offensive rebound position. He loves to float in the lane right there, Anderson.
Missed it, went for the rebound, committed the foul. Number 1 on Kenny Anderson, number 1 on Georgia Tech. Bobby Crimmins.
Always coaching. He's a player's coach, has that great attitude. Players love to play for him. Tremendous personality. Come out of the streets of New York. Look at him. Let's get some motion. Let's get some excitement here.
Not many people remember what a disaster the Georgia Tech basketball program was when he took over. And I mean disaster with a capital D.
Well, he's a Frank Lloyd Wright. He's a real architect. The same I would apply to Ricky Pitino and Lute Olson.
Not that Duke was in any great shape when Mike Krzyzewski came here. In and out.
But Duke had great tradition.
Yes, they did.
They had great winning tradition.
And Georgia Tech had none of that. Long-range jumper, Barry. Junior college transfer, played a year at Pacific.
His daddy is Rick, the Hall of Famer, one of the greatest passers I ever seen.
Leitner down the lane with a left hand, and it's 6-0 Duke.
Nice isolation for Leitner, taking the ball down the lane, got him into a one-on-one setup. Uses the left hand.
Anderson walked.
They're really out of sync. They are really out of sync.
We've got a timeout on the court. 16 minutes to go first half. Duke leads it 6-0. It is indeed an all-purpose scoreboard here at Duke. It shows you a 6-0 score, and Carlene Brown has just been proposed to by a gentleman by the name of Rich Cannon, and there are her options.
Multiple choice. Look at that baby.
And they don't give multiple choice tests at Duke, and there they are. I think she said yes.
She's in love. She's in love. Oh, I'll tell you one thing, baby. He has overachieved looking at her.
He's got great timing. He waited till they were up 6-0. My question is, does Duke have to win for this thing to hold? Here's a foul inside. They're pointing at Leitner. That would be his second.
That's a big foul to get number 2. Mike's going to have to go to the bench. Crawford Palmer now becomes a valuable player. He's going to have to bring Palmer on the floor. Mike Krzyzewski, 4 of the last 5 years to the Final Four. There's Palmer right now. Physical player.
6'9", 235 out of Arlington, Virginia.
That's Christian Leitner talking to Tommy Amica, the outstanding point guard for years here, now an assistant coach. Told me today we still got a shot with Chris Webber.
That ball was not tipped. It's out of bounds. Another turnover, the 4th in 4 minutes and 20 seconds for Georgia Tech.
Like, one of the requisites against Georgia Tech is don't allow them to get into that transition game. Right now, Duke has not allowed one transition basket, hasn't allowed a point, but hasn't allowed them an opportunity in transition.
There is a hold on Kenny Anderson. That is his second. And there is a player that Bobby Crimmins can't afford to sit down.
Dick Paparo with the call.
Marty Clark, number 3. Excuse me. Number 3, Brian Damalik into the lineup for Georgia Tech. Hurley got caught in the lane. Comes outside. McCaffrey's jumper. It's 8-0.
When they were playing well early this season, McCaffrey was their scorer. He really got out of the gate really well and then had that injury against Michigan.
Anderson had a little give and go and passed on it.
Damalik can shoot the ball, number 3.
Reach-in foul. It looks like McCaffrey will be called for it.
It looks right now like Kenny Anderson's very passive in the early part of this basketball game. He's like a beautiful Rolls Royce, but he's playing like a Chevy right now. But he'll throw it in gear because he's a flat-out Rolls Royce. He's got that special bounce. Look at that little cockiness, that Muhammad Ali about him. Like, I'm good, baby, and you better believe it. I am super. And he can back it up, big-time style.
Barry goes to the free throw line where he's a 75% shooter.
He's a transfer, played at Pacific University where he was all rookie as a freshman, and then he transferred over to junior college at Paris Junior College, and then came to Georgia Tech. Doesn't shoot that underhand. We want to see the underhand one like Papa Rim.
He only shot 90% that way. Georgia Tech finally gets on the board with 15-11 to go in the first half. It's 8-2.
Bob Hurley out of St. Anthony's High School. He and Kenny Anderson were so heralded when they came out of the high school ranks.
Hurley, nice head fake, got free for the jumper. Missed it. Rebound goes to Antonio Lang. Lang at a Mobile, big freshman, 6'8", very athletic.
Yeah, he's a very active player. He's got good legs, good bouncing before.
McCaffrey with a good head fake. He missed. And a foul inside. It looks like Crawford Palmer pushed off. That'll be 1 on Palmer and the 4th team foul against Duke.
Crawford, a role player, a complimentary player, doesn't have the great foot speed.
Worked hard in the offseason. He's going to contribute a little bit more than he did a year ago.
See, right now, Anderson's going over to the number 2 guard slot. Damalik, nice look.
Nice feed by Anderson. Got the foul on Palmer as a result. That's 2 on Palmer.
That happened after a curl move. Anderson went to the number 2 guard slot, came off a curl move, caught the ball, and then the little dump down. You have to respect the jump shot. He's got great vision. Smile on his face, just loves to play basketball.
Leitner will come back in, and coming out, Antonio Lang. Brian Davis also comes out.
Leitner with 2. I'd take the ball right at Christian Leitner, try to get number 3 on him.
Thomas Hill comes in, and this is Mackey, who's averaging 18.3 points a game. Missed that free throw. He's their most improved player by far.
Well, last year he didn't have to really score. He averaged 7 points a game, 7 rebounds, but they had the lethal weapons 3. Remember, Dennis Scott was unbelievable, averaging 27 a game, and Brian Oliver, who I thought was just Mr. Courageous. He was the heart and guts, 21 points a game, and the 3 of them, Anderson and the 2 guards, Scott and Oliver, were absolutely dominant. It was a real 3-guard concept.
It was a heck of a show. Leitner on the good feed and gets it down. Nice pass by Billy McCaffrey.
Well, he's getting 3. Got the ball inside, a little too deep. Defensively, Georgia Tech's got to push him out a little further.
Malik now playing the point, and he travels.
Tried to run a double screen for Kenny Anderson off his stack. They're trying to let Anderson get free without the ball and let Domalik bring the ball up. Hey, they don't beat Wake Forest without Domalik. He drives 3 threes in, and then he hits a big 3 against Georgia to send the game into the second overtime. Turnovers 5-1.
Duke is forcing 21 turnovers a game, but they are committing 17 themselves. One of the reasons they were beaten by Virginia, they didn't handle the ball very well.
They're playing out a real pace.
Open court, Anderson fouled, and the basket counts.
That's where he really excels in transition. He has a good anticipation.
Thomas Hill picks up the personal. Of course, Mike Krzyzewski did not like the call.
There's the anticipation by Anderson. Steps to the lane. Reads the play really well.
Boy, Dick Baparo, that's an NBA call with that continuation order.
Really a questionable call right there. 39 minutes a game he's averaging, .7. Played 55 minutes in a triple O tier against Georgia. 55 minutes.
Unbelievable. He's shooting 81% from the line. The lead is cut to 4 at 10-6. And Anderson has his first 3 points of the night. More to follow.
And they're zoning right now. I really believe they're going to zone to try and protect. Playing like a matchup zone.
This is Hill. Thomas Hill. Grant Hill is the injured Blue Devil who won't play for the next couple of games because of a broken nose.
See, if you want to read what they're doing, you send a man through the defense, and you can read whether or not they're playing straight man or matchup.
Leitner, who looks more and more like Danny Ferry every year, with a nice little lean-in move.
I really like Christian Leitner. He's one of those special players that can play on a perimeter as well as on the interior. He's got an excellent touch.
He has 8, and it's 12-6. So far, Hurley has done a very nice job with help on Anderson.
See, he wants the ball screen. He's going to try to utilize the ball screen up on top.
Look at him clear out on the side.
Little isolation.
Double clutch, can't get it down. Got his rebound, put it up.
Oh, what an unbelievable move. That was flat out awesome. Great body control, hang time.
He gets 6 rebounds a game. I mean, this kid can play anywhere on the court. McCaffrey from long range.
Now, see, here's where he excels. Right now, pushing the ball up the floor. He backs you up.
Bothered as one of the players came by. The feed inside by Berry. A little too hard, and gets away.
Yeah, not a good pass. Had the right intention, but really drilled that baby.
Hurley kicks it off. Hill, air ball. Boy, there have been some bad-looking shots put up so far. Domalik, great catch. Oh, what a sensational catch, and to maintain body control and put it in.
That was Barry with that catch. Great catch.
Oh, you're right.
Barry.
You're right.
Barry with a great catch, good hands. His daddy's cheering in front of the TV screen saying, "That's my boy."
Well, just to be able to catch that ball, let alone lay it in. Leitner, after some contact, no whistle, missed the shot. Rebound goes to John Barry.
Barry's a real competitor, real tough competitor. Offensive foul. I wonder where he got that competitive drive from. Yeah, nobody had the competitiveness of Rick Barry. You talk about a competitor.
11:48 to go, first half of play from Duke. The Blue Devils over the Jackets by 2.
Mike, Georgia Tech's going to run a little isolation right now, one-on-one maneuver. They're going to put the ball in Anderson's hands, and he has Hurley right now on his heels. There's the change of direction after going between the legs, the hang time, and now look at this great offensive rebound. I mean, that kid is 6'1", as quick as a cat. Great left-hand reverse. Kenny Anderson. Archbishop Malloy played for an outstanding coach, Jack Curran. Archbishop Malloy also produced a guy by the name of Kenny Smith, Brian Winters, and Kevin Joyce. Winters and Joyce went to Bobby Cremens' alma mater, University of South Carolina.
Duke by 2, 11:37 and counting. First half of play. Lang back in. He's got the ball top of the free throw line. In and out. Offensive rebound. Kubek put it up, wouldn't go for him. Knocked out of bounds. Off Georgia Tech, out to Duke.
Kubek's really been, as far as I'm concerned, a guy that hasn't given him the kind of consistent basketball off the bench. He really has played a little better, according to Mike Krzyzewski, in practice. But this guy came in with a great reputation to stroke the ball and just has not been able to find himself on a consistent basis. He's had some great moments in his career, but hasn't been consistent.
Hurley from outside. Kubek's only shot 34% in his career from three-point range, and they wanted a lot more than that from him.
The book says that you're going to allow Bob Hurley to shoot the perimeter shot, and they're just going to keep allowing him to shoot from deep.
Anderson with the miss, Hill with a rebound.
He told me before the game, Kenny, he said, I didn't like the way I was shooting the ball earlier in the season, but I've picked it up. He's shooting better than 40% from three-point range.
He knocked that one away, and here comes Barry on the break.
Nice.
Great feed. And Mackey is fouled as he goes in.
Malcolm Mackey from out of Chattanooga, Tennessee, came in really highly acclaimed. Last year he was the fourth option, but now he is number 2. Memphis State and Louisville Metro Conference Thursday, 7:30.
Tim Brando and Jim Valvano will bring you that game, 7:30 Eastern. And then Bob Carpenter and Larry Conley will be standing by for Texas against Arkansas at 9:30 Eastern. That should be a beauty, too.
That's always a shootout. I know Joey Wright and company and Tom Penders welcome the challenge, taking on the Arkansas Razorbacks.
Mackey now 1 for 3 tonight from the line. Only a 61% shooter.
He received a lot of high accolades today from Mike Krzyzewski. When we were talking to Mike in his office, he thinks he's one of the most improved players in the ACC.
Well, they haven't had a big physical guy like him since Yvonne Joseph.
Well, the guy they're really hoping will become a big presence inside is Matt Geiger. But Matt has just been a good perimeter shooter, but has been a little bit soft, not aggressive enough. In fact, he told me that today himself. He said, I have to be a little bit more aggressive.
Well, he's had a sprained ankle. We haven't seen him yet. He's checked into the lineup for the first time. Lang with a power move inside, won't go. Here comes Barry. Geiger is number 52 for Georgia Tech. Barry left of the court. Basket goes, and a blocking foul.
John Barry was really a lot better than I anticipated. I thought we were going to look at a guy that could shoot the stationary shot, but he can show he can pass the ball. And here he is making a play in transition, splitting the defense. Little finger roll, hanging. Now he looks at the ref. He says, count that, baby. Count it.
What's really great about it is Bobby Crimmins really needed some people to come in and play right away. And usually that doesn't happen with junior college kids, but he's gotten it out of Barry.
Well, he had to fill certain roles. He had to fill a role to replace the shooting of a guy like Dennis Scott, though you're not going to replace Scott in its entirety because he's in another world compared to some of these people on the floor here. But this kid came in and gave him 15 points a game.
He's been in double figures 11 of 12 games, averaging 16.6, and that's a great bonus.
I know one thing, he's going to have to replace that point guard because Kenny Anderson's saying bye-bye going to the NBA next year. There's no doubt in my mind that he will be part of the NBA draft. And they signed, during the early signing, Travis Best. Remember that name from Springfield, Mass. One of the top 3-point guards in America in high school.
Georgia Tech with its first lead of the game, and Duke turns it over with 10:08 to go in the half.
Not really a well-played game, Mike. Really sloppily played. The pace is not really... Pace is not intense. It's very passive out there.
Keep in mind, for a lot of these guys, it's only the second ACC game they've ever played, and for the Georgia Tech youngsters, the first time they have ever played at Cameron Indoor. This is Hill. Dumps it off. Blocking foul.
Brian Hill had a separated shoulder. I think they get a charge.
They did call it a charge.
Hill went to the same high school as Tommy Amica. They were reminiscing before the game. Tommy came over to me. He says, you know, he went to my high school. I said, he probably broke all your records.
Brian Hill picks up his first. That's the 4th team foul against Georgia Tech. Duke has already committed 8. And you see Georgia Tech with a 13-4 run to take a 1-point lead. McCaffrey left alone. He can drill it. 3.
Billy McCaffrey, what a family. He comes from his brother, an All-American receiver for Stanford, his sister, a hoopster down at Georgetown. But better than that, Mr. and Mrs. McCaffrey have to be mighty proud. 3 kids, Duke, Stanford, and Georgetown.
Anderson over Hurley, and give Bobby Hurley a big round of applause for his early defensive job. Leitner.
What he's really doing a great job is he's containing and controlling Anderson because he's not allowing him to beat him with the dribble. See, like right there, he beats him to a spot. Now he gets over the top of the screen. Great job of defense. defense right there. Unbelievable right there by Hurley.
Geiger double team, leans into it, and he's fouled. Georgia Tech's done a good job of forcing Duke into fouls.
I mean, I really can appreciate the art of the defensive job Bob Hurley did in that one possession. He beats him to a spot. Look at that hustle. Now he gets over the top of a screen. He goes number 2. He doesn't go number 3 or number 4, which means if you go behind the screener, tremendous job to Bob Hurley. A+ right there. Your daddy be mighty proud. The outstanding coach at St. Anthony's. That was heart and guts, that defensive play right there. Stay in front of Anderson.
He doesn't look that quick, but he gets it done. Geiger out of Clearwater, the transfer from Auburn.
He averaged 16 points a game at Auburn, had 7 games with 20 points or better. Hey, I'm going to mention Auburn something else. I got a call the other day in my room. John Lewandowski from the Sports Information Department. He says, Dick, you're talking about diaper dandies, Rodney Rogers, Jamal Mashburn. He said, Mashburn's not even the best in the SEC as a freshman. We got a kid here, Wesley Person. I know about Wesley. He can play, but he's still not better than Mashburn. Mashburn's with Kentucky, and they're winning, baby, and he's inside and out.
We're tied at 15, 8:54 to go. First half of play from the sold-out Cameron Indoor Stadium.
And I really like Person. He's going to be a great one.
Leitner very patient inside. McCaffrey
playing 2-man basketball right now offensively. Leitner and McCaffrey.
Ivano Newbill had the last rebound. Anderson just can't get by her.
Tremendous defensive job containing him, staying in front of him, getting over the top of the screen, beating him to a spot.
Earlier they ran a clear out, and that was the only time Anderson has been able to get away. There he got by her. He missed the shot, but that's the follow by Geiger.
Geiger with a good offensive rebound, showed some aggressiveness there. He looks a little bit conditioning, maybe a problem after that injury.
Well, I think his ankles really kept him from doing any running at all. Georgia Tech by 2, the first 2 points for Geiger.
In all fairness to Geiger, also, he sat out a year.
Yeah.
Getting back into the flow in a game, conditioning takes a while.
Leitner with a nice soft touch. Leitner in double figures already. We're tied at 17.
Christian Leitner doing all the work on the offensive end.
He just plays very smart inside.
He's so skilled. He can pass the ball. He's so smooth.
Anderson so far has been held to 5 points. Barry is the leading scorer. He has 6, and that will be a reach-in foul on McCaffrey. That's his second. And the fouls continue to mount against Duke.
It's really tough when you think about the job of Bob Hurley today. As we look at McCaffrey, Bob Hurley has the job of trying, one, to control as being the leader and catalyst for Mike Krzyzewski. Mike Krzyzewski wants Hurley to control and contain Mr. Anderson. And on the other side, he has to be the distributor and the leader on the offensive end in getting them into their offensive sets.
Barry, 2 out of 3 at the line.
Both these clubs last year in the Final Four have to reload new young people. Remember, Duke loses the big 3. Abdelnaby now with the Portland Trailblazers. They lose Henderson, and they lose Robert Brickey. Henderson and Brickey are playing in the CBA.
Barry hits a couple, and Georgia Tech has gone back on top by 2. 7:55 left in the half.
More and more people today are having a difficult time paying their bills. I think a second mortgage loan from Champion could be the solution to all those problems. Get rid of those 18 and 19% high rate.
Basketball doubleheader. Denny Crum's Louisville Cardinals face arch-rival Memphis State. Then top-ranked Arkansas sounds the Mayday alarm when they meet Texas. Let the battles begin. Thursday, live on ESPN.
Mike, the art of playing man-to-man pressure defense. Here's Hurley. Great eyes, concentration, excellent stance. Now watch him get over the top of the screen. There he is, right in a great defensive stance. He doesn't allow Anderson to penetrate to beat him. He drives into a spot and he gets him to give up the basketball. Now he has to be alert as Anderson's going to want to use the screen. Look at Bobby trying to duck behind him. He caught him. Anderson really caught him right there on the baseline, but Geiger comes over with a good offensive rebound. But a great job to make him give up the rock.
Duke has committed 10 personal fouls in the first half. Georgia Tech only 4. In the free throw situation, 9 out of 12 for Georgia Tech. Duke has not gone to the line. It's been a big part of this first half.
I really believe Bobby thinks a little bit too much on the offensive end. I think the factor of reading about the perimeter shooting liability that he's been, I think this has affected him, and I don't really believe he's playing with a lot of confidence on that perimeter.
Tossed that one away.
And if you look at his assist-turnover ratio, it is not 2 to 1. And any point guard, especially a point guard with his talent and ability, has to be at least 2 to 1 in terms of assists to turnovers.
Now, you're right. He has a lot of assists, 93 coming into the game, but he also had 55 turnovers.
And that ratio is not good for a guy with his ability level.
Geiger comes out to help. He's fouled by Lang. That will be 2 on Lang, and it will be 2 shots because we have gotten past 10 fouls in the first half.
Foul is on loose number 21, Antonio.
Normally this would be a one-on-one situation, pressure to make the first.
Anderson's out of the ball game for a breather. Bobby Crimmon's trying to give him a little bit of a rest with a 2-point lead.
You would believe his numbers, averaging 37.6 a game over the last 6 games.
He only has 5 so far, but boy, can he explode.
And what makes his point so special, Mike, is that every game is like a clutch situation. That's what I loved about an Oscar Robertson, the great players. They would get 50 when your team wins by 1, and that's what makes those guys special.
Geiger has hit 3 out of 4 free throws. The lead is 3.
Geiger played for Sonny Smith down at Auburn. He almost went to Villanova. They're in that matchup.
Always looking for Leitner. Look at the crowd he draws. Tipped out of bounds by Hill from Georgia Tech.
Well, out of the matchup right now, they're going to double team. Anytime the ball goes down to Leitner, their philosophy and the concept they really try to establish is to get Leitner to pass the ball rather than take the ball to score.
Geiger in there at a 7-footer trying to clog up the middle a little bit. McCaffrey hits the jumper in the lane.
I like his velvet touch. He's got that smooth touch. Good rotation.
McCaffrey with 7. Barry, baseliner from 10 feet, air ball. And the foul's going to go against Hill, pushing off underneath. That'll be his second.
Hey, we got to say congratulations to Bobby Ross and the Ramblin' Wreck of Georgia Tech. What a football season they had. Unbelievable.
Told me a great story about the vote for the national championship. It came down to the last ballot that had not been counted. They called Georgia Tech and said it is tied with 1 vote to go, and they won it on the last vote.
They had to set up a nice, beautiful game. I like that story, but you know what? Colorado and Georgia Tech play for some nice, beautiful charity. We find out who's number 1.
Duke with a chance to take the lead on this trip. 6:34 to go in the half. Davis, great move. The tip will go from Antonio Lang.
Lang with that great athletic ability uses the left hand on that tip.
Anderson is back in the game. This is Barry. Geiger. Soft touch, but it won't go. Here's McCaffrey.
He's got to give it up to the left wing.
3 on 2. He'll take it himself.
He said, forget about giving it up, Dick. One of the 3 options when the ball's in the middle is either shoot it or pass to the left or right. And right now I'm on fire, so I'm shooting the rock.
9 points for Billy McCaffrey, and they've certainly got the crowd back in it.
They got to set a screen for Anderson to pop out and get the ball in his hands.
Geiger has to chase it down. It's a 3-guard offense right now. Reach in, there's the steal. 2 on 2. McCaffrey. He has 11 and Duke has a 5-point lead.
Bobby waiting for the TV timeout, which comes at the 4-minute mark. Trying to preserve those timeouts. You only get 3.
To Malik. Good long-range shooter, missed that one. Leitner with a rebound. Duke has scored the last 8.
Real big possession right now by Duke. If I were Duke, I'd try to take advantage and go to Leitner. Go to my money guy. Leitner or McCaffrey. 2-man game. One of those 2 have to shoot the rock in his possession. They start up in a 1-4.
Great feet inside and all alone is Brian Davis. Everybody got lost.
Well, there was a lack of communication. They didn't know if they were in a man-to-man or if they were in a matchup. Now he has to get the timeout with 52 seconds until we went to the TV timeout.
Davis with an easy layup. 4:52 to go in the half. It's Duke by 7.
Welcome back. We'll get to halftime in just a moment. Meantime, Dean Smith going for number 700, and he gets it. 105-73, the victory over Maryland. Only the 6th coach to read that. We'll have that and more at halftime. Right now, let's get back to the game.
John, thanks very much. And Dean says it's only because he's been around a long time. We all know that isn't true. Kenny Anderson with a tough first half, only 5 points. He averages 29 a game. He's only hit 2 out of 9 field goals. Dick, it makes me wonder if you didn't give him a pep talk or something.
Well, really going to hurt me. Hey, I gave a great pep talk to the University of Colorado in basketball before the season. And look what they're doing. They're blowing out Wake Forest tonight on a roll.
Well, there was also that Notre Dame football pep talk. Anderson leans in, buried it.
Kenny Anderson.
That was a tough two he received right there. Hurley did everything right defensively, was squared up on him, shot the ball over the top.
With a great shooter, that'll happen.
He's a very streaky shooter, Mike. He's not what I would call a pure shooter, but a very streaky shooter.
McCaffrey drills another one. McCaffrey has 13. The lead is back to 7.
See, a definition to me of a great shooter would have been Dennis Scott.
Anderson, another leaner, and when he gets hot, look out.
Yeah, he's very streaky, very explosive, and we haven't really seen him yet in the open court and transition. That's where he excels.
No, he hadn't gotten any freebies, not on breaks.
Well, Duke's doing a great job controlling tempo. A little exchange on the box.
Hurley tries one. He's had a tough shooting night.
That's not his forte. He's got to really work on rotation. Look, right over the top of the screen. He ran him into a screen. Great hedge and step out. Not a good shot. Really a bad
Forced that one.
Yeah, bad decision right there by Kenny.
But that's what shooters do when they've got the hot feeling. They want to
great look.
Lang, nice feed.
Nice look by Bobby Hurley. Head off, good vision, good penetration.
He made such penetration, it was almost a handoff.
I'll tell you what, he could shoot the ball poorly and still play for me because he really is not afraid to make an error. And that's why he gets himself some turnovers, because he's always taking the gamble and a chance. I like those kind of players.
That's Newbill, who's back in Bobby Kerman's lineup. Gives it off to Anderson.
He's a physical player, lays some screens, not a scorer, Newbill.
Playing a 3-guard offense. Barry, Demolic, and Anderson.
Demolic can shoot the ball if he gets free.
Anderson almost
got it right there. He could shoot the ball.
May have rushed it a little bit, did not get the roll. And somebody else needs to pick up Kenny Anderson here.
I got a big kick of somebody telling me he beat Georgia. Hit a jumper to go in overtime as we watch the jumper right here. Good offensive rebound.
Nice play by Crawford. Palmer off the miss.
That's what they need out of Palmer, some aggressive play.
Boy, he did go hard to the boards, too.
He wanted the ball in that possession.
Newbill. Little too strong. Follow won't go. Palmer with a rebound, and he is fouled by Newbill.
Ivano Newbill with the foul, number 33.
Coming up this Saturday, NFL Game Day at 11:30 Eastern. They'll preview the Redskins against the 49ers and Miami at Buffalo. Chris and the whole gang. And we're really getting down to the interesting part of the NFL.
Hey, I think they can put together one heck of an NFL team in football, ESPN. Theismann at quarterback. They can line up with 2 great guards. They got Berman and they got Saunders. Saunders will be a pulling guard.
Tom
Berman
Jackson
down here.
linebacker.
Tom Jackson, put you down a flanker. I could be fullback.
Well, the team's starting to come apart.
Calvano at the other flanker. Man-to-man defense right now. Running, trying to beat Leitner to the ball.
Leitner being guarded by Newbill, and he traveled.
Got him in a triple threat position. Squared up on him, faced him, but lifted that pivot foot.
Leitner picked up the 2 fouls very early in the game, has been quite careful since then.
Mike Krzyzewski, a perfectionist, an unbelievable artist at work at practice. Congratulations to Big Dean, Michelangelo, 700. That's an average of 25 a year W's in 30 years. Incredible.
It's an awesome record. Anderson got to the baseline ahead of Hurley, forced that one a little bit. Leitner got his hands on it. Nice decision by Hurley.
See, I don't think Kenny is even comfortable shooting the ball as much as he had this year.
Barry with a great effort to get the steal, but he stepped on the sideline.
But you know, he really is smart enough to know the only way they're going to win is he has to put a lot of points on the board. But I think he'd rather play the game and not have the pressure of having to score 30 and 35 every night.
Like last year.
Like last year. Enjoy playing. He gets his 20 a game and gives up the rock to his buddies.
Thomas Hill inbounds to Leitner. And now Hurley will reset the offense with 1.5 minutes to go. A 9-point Duke lead first half.
They're in a man-to-man defense. A little matchup a little bit earlier.
Palmer wanted the ball down low. They didn't get it to him.
Oh, nice pass inside out. He's got to drive this home.
Hurley left alone, finally hit the three, and it's 36-24.
What a difference in the way he released that jump shot. There was no hesitation. He caught the ball. He wasn't tentative. He was going up as soon as the ball came back out from Leitner.
That's his first bucket and the biggest lead for the Blue Devils. Leahy back to Berry. His three won't go, and Georgia Tech very cold from the outside. This is Hurley. McCaffrey. Tip is good, and that's Crawford Palmer.
Crawford Palmer has really contributed. He's given him an offensive rebounder on the glass, a big body inside, plus 14.
The 38-24.
You know who's been the star of the first half?
Hurley.
That's
Defense.
Right. Defense, baby. He's keeping Mr. Anderson in check.
Now they're in a zone right now. Look for Anderson to try to find the soft spot. He's become a very good three-point shooter.
He's made 41 out of 100.
Game clock has 3 seconds more than the shot clock.
I love the way the Duke kids get over the top of screens.
Anderson with another miss. The tip to McCaffrey.
They got a chance for a shot. They got a chance for a shot. They got it. They got it. Count it, baby. Count it. Up the ball. Momentum goes in the locker room. And look at the what goes.
Hurley got it to McCaffrey. And the lead grows to 16 with a last-minute burst from the Blue Devils.
Right now, look at the clock. There's Hurley kicking it out to his buddy. He says, come on, Billy. Score this, baby. Let's go up 16. There it is. Count it. Count it.
Duke trying to even its ACC record at 1-1 has gone up by 16 over Georgia Tech. Right now, let's join John Saunders. John?
ESPN's presentation of NCAA basketball, Georgia Tech versus Duke, is brought to you by Diet Coke. You're going to drink it just for the taste of it.
Welcome back to halftime, everybody. Mike Patrick and Dick Vitale with you. It's 40-24. Duke leading here at halftime, and it was a 23-4 run for Duke in the last 8 minutes of the first half that did it. They played very well, but the story of the first half, we said at the beginning, Kenny Anderson is just an incomparable scorer, and he was shut down by Bobby Hurley. Only had 9 points.
The people really haven't seen the legitimate Kenny Anderson, but the reason for that has been the superb defensive play of Bobby Hurley. He's done a fantastic job of driving him and beating him to a spot. He's contained him. His containment's been unbelievable. He's controlled his every move. It's just been incredible. Right here, take a look. Getting over the top of a screen. There's a little hedge. He beats him to a spot, gets over the top of a screen, does an excellent job defensively. Constantly harassing Anderson, never allowing him to get the easy basket. There he is now, coming back over the top of the screen, beating him, staying in front of him at all times, and then pressuring him after he pulls up on his dribble. Look at him working on the defensive end. A superb, an A+ for Bob Hurley with his unbelievable defense. Now there's another look. Look at him right here. He's going to get back over the top. He says, no, Kenny, you're not going to get by me. Look at him, low center of gravity. Look at that stance. Look at the work ethic. Tremendous defensive performance. Incredible.
Let's take a look at the halftime stats as Anderson hit only 4 of 14 field goals in the first half. One of the reasons that Georgia Tech is only shooting 27% and Duke nearly 50. Duke did not have a free throw try. Georgia Tech has stayed in this game. 10 of their 24 points have come from the line. Duke controlling the rebounds. Turnovers, Georgia Tech has committed 9. Duke is forcing 21 a game this year so far.
Mike, I get really excited when I see a great defensive effort, and when you see, as we look at the numbers on Kenny Anderson, when you see someone execute a coach's game plan. That was the game plan of Mike Krzyzewski for Bob Hurley. Stay in front of Kenny Anderson.
Hill. This is Berry. Guarded by McCaffrey, and now Anderson.
They switch, and in a switch right now, McCaffrey ends up with him.
Berry open. Missed it. Leitner with another rebound.
Good outlet a la Wes Unseld, one of the classiest guys. And what a job Wes Unsel's doing with a team that really doesn't have a whole lot of personnel.
Tremendous.
Bernard King doing a phenomenal job.
That was the 8th rebound of the night for Christian Leitner, who averages 10.1 a game.
They missed Leitner. He was wide open, had the defensive players sealed.
Anderson on Hurley. Duke by 16 and the ball. McCaffrey, who's been on fire.
Great call. Designated play. Run a double screen up high. Go to the hot man. Know your options on the floor. Duke very heady with that possession.
Billy McCaffrey has 18 points. Anderson leans in, hit the bucket, and he's fouled by Hurley.
And that was a tough two right there. Hurley did everything imaginable, playing him the right way, squared on him, and he still comes up with the deuce.
He's only the first foul on Bobby Hurley.
He's going to end up with a big night. He'll end up with a lot of points before this night's over. But they're all earned. So he's going to back him down.
You just don't stop a guy like Kenny Anderson.
And as we said earlier, he really excels in the open court. That's why I think he's going to be such a superb NBA player. The 24-second clock, plus he's going to be surrounded with so many better players that he's going to be able to show his great passing ability.
He hasn't shot well tonight, but when he got his record 50 against Loyola Marymount, he had 18 of 27 field goals, including 6 threes.
How much does he miss Scott and Oliver? He has no assists tonight.
43-27. Davis had a shot and passed for a tougher one. Leitner with another rebound. He walked, I think.
Yeah, he lifted his pivot foot. I'll tell you one thing. Duke has went out and played some real tough people in getting ready for the league season. Mike Krzyzewski has a big date down at, look at Mike smiling. Big date in February with Arizona at Arizona.
Well, that may have looked like a smile, but it wasn't. He had something to say as Dick Paparo went by.
Certainly one of the best Zebras in all of basketball.
Mackey over Leitner, who was working with those 2 fouls and I think backed off a little.
It's about time they got the ball into the big horse, averaging 18 points a game. We haven't even known he's on the floor.
He only has 4.
And he got the ball in real deep offensively right there in that possession.
43-29. Hurley trying to make Anderson work a little on defense. Leitner double team. Got it.
Christian Leitner with an excellent release from up in New York State. Certainly Syracuse would have loved to have Christian Leitner come up to the Carrier Dome. Hey, they appointed a new football coach today. And I loved his name. What a beautiful name. Ends in A-E-I-O-U. Oh, it is a special name.
Here's the steal.
Give it up. He's got a trailer.
McCaffrey put it in. 27-29. McCaffrey has 20.
That was a great play by McCaffrey because I didn't think he had the right angle to make that deuce. I thought he'd have to give it back to the trailer for the easier play.
Anderson fouled by Hurley, his second quickly here in the half.
Bob Hurley never played against Kenny Anderson in a high school battle between St. Anthony's and Archbishop Malloy, but he played against him, he said, in AAU games, so he's very familiar with the style of play. They had 3 big meetings last year. Georgia Tech beat them in the tournament. In fact, that was the outburst by Phil Henderson, and Mike Krzyzewski said that was the best coaching maneuver we ever had. But Henderson went bananas and said our players weren't playing hard.
47-29, Anderson against Hurley. Pulls up, no basket, offensive. Oh! Anderson, that's his 3rd.
Bobby Kremitz knows it's a tough night at the office tonight, but what an architect this guy has been. He's done an amazing job. He's had 6 ACC Rookies of the Year in the 9 years he's been coaching there. This being his 10th year.
3 on Anderson. That was the first team foul against Georgia Tech here in the second half.
He's playing very soft on Hurley. What a good look inside.
Davis was wide open as Barry went out to double team.
Georgia Tech really not recognizing on a defensive end, lacking communication.
Hill with the runner and missed it. Here's the steal by Barry. Got it. Nice play. They needed that one. They're still down by 18. Here's a bad pass. Anderson with a steal. Knocked out of bounds by Hurley.
Sloppy play right there by Duke. Bobby was excited tonight, telling me about his brother Danny last night. Talking about his brother, Mr. Anderson. He said, my brother Danny had 35 last night. They beat All Hallows High School. Mike Krzyzewski on the sideline, Mr. Intensity.
Duke with 2 players in double figures. McCaffrey with 20, Leitner with 12. Georgia Tech has Anderson with 12 and Barry with 10.
He's just got that special way when he has the ball in his hands. Like, I'm the best in the world.
Mackey forced it up. Pretty good defense by the Blue Devils inside. Lang was right in his face. Nice feed by Hurley. Basket won't go for Brian Davis, but he draws the foul.
That's a secondary phase in a transition game. The first look is to the wing for either the jumper or the drive. The next look in the secondary phase is to find the slasher to the box inside. And here they go down to the slasher. Right down to the box. They execute so well, drilled in every phase of the game.
Foul was on Newbill, his second team foul. Davis started the first game, and Mike Krzyzewski has shuffled his lineup ever since.
Well, Mike
and has had to do it with McCaffrey injured.
Mike didn't like his totals in that first game, not so much his point totals. He didn't like the idea. He had one rebound in like about 20-some minutes. He said, that's totally unacceptable here at Duke.
Both free throws makes it 51-31. Duke in total control, and Georgia Tech needs a run. There's Barry off the screen.
Nice curl move to get Barry free.
Davis gets the rebound, and they can't find the hot shooter.
Georgia Tech's won 6 in a row. Well, there's the excellent skip pass right over the top of the defense.
McCaffrey had it blocked in his face by Mackey. Ahead to Barry. Nice move to get it up and in.
He has great hands. That was a tremendous catch.
This is a find, this kid, to be able to come out of junior college and play right away and contribute the way he has.
Oh, we had a punch. We had a punch on Mr. Barry. Just really threw a knock on Mr. Leitner.
McCaffrey, he's had the hot hand tonight. That's a two-pointer, and the lead is back to 20.
And Mike Krzyzewski wants the foul as well. Hey, they're a different team when McCaffrey's executing on the perimeter, shooting the rock. He's been out with that ankle injury. He's been playing, but really not starting.
Bad pass by Hill. Here's McCaffrey, and he's fouled.
Duke really excelling on the defensive end, playing the passing lanes really well. There are 4 basic phases to the Duke concept on defense. Bobby Crimmins knows that defensively Duke is executing so well.
Oh, they called this an intentional foul.
There's the anticipation by McCaffrey. And there was the bump by Barry.
Forearm in the back.
Yep.
2-shot intentional foul.
That'll be 2 shots and the ball. And Bobby Crimmins did not care for it and is protesting the call. McCaffrey already has 22 points.
He's got an excellent stroke here on his free throw line.
This would be his career high.
Mike, talking about the 4 phases of their defense. 1, pressure the ball. 2, deny on the wing. 3, help out. Beat cutters to the ball. And 4, block out. And Duke is really excelling in all those areas tonight.
Biggest scoring night of his career, 23 points. And he has given the Blue Devils a 21-point lead over Georgia Tech. We'll be back in a minute. Krzyzewskiville, population 190, the 10th city outside of Cameron Indoor Stadium. They lined up tonight to get in here. When the game's over, they get to go back and keep their place in line. 10 days from now is Duke and North Carolina right here. And we will be back 8 o'clock Eastern to bring you that ball game, and that 190 population will swell.
I can't wait to come back here for that game. I mean, whenever Carolina hooks up with Duke, always a special scene. I'll tell you one thing, those kids really wacky out there having a ball. Hey, Mike, does it get any better? We had the bleacher creatures down in Wisconsin. That was so much fun. Now the Cameron crazies down here. Hey, school starts tomorrow. They're back in class again.
Davis with an offensive rebound. Tries to feed it inside and throws it away. The lead is 21, still 15-23 to go in the game. And now they're saying the ball was touched by Georgia Tech and the ball will go out to Duke.
That was the call by Mickey Crowley. He's an experienced guy with the whistle.
Georgia Tech desperately needs a run. They need to get some transition going.
6-game winning streak. Have really been playing well. Started out at the gate real slow.
Hurley. And he traveled. Hurley looks down at his feet as if to see if anything actually moved or not.
His brother was telling me at 35 he can really stroke it. A left-handed shooter. He's going to Seton Hall. Seton Hall will be a monster next year with Luther Wright, Danny Hurley. All those new people that they have, unbelievable.
Barry wanted the ball. There's a foul away from the ball. It's called on Malcolm Mackey inside pushing off.
Bobby Kremens knows there's been a lot better nights than today. He beats Minnesota last year 93-91 to go to the big party, the Final Four. There's a look at Matt Geiger. Geiger's going to really have to assert himself in terms of becoming much more aggressive and be a valuable player for this team to really make some noise at tournament time.
Hurley double teamed at the baseline. Hill leans in, had it blocked. Mackey did a nice job and then got the rebound and then threw it away. Lang.
Nice pass.
Speed. Leitner put it in and he fouled.
Great look. And there's the hug by Leitner. Says, I love you, Antonio. Thanks for giving a rock up. Another high five. They're challenging UNLV, but nobody have challenged UNLV in high fives and more hugs.
Dick, that was really the kind of play that can take you out of the game. You're trying to make a comeback.
Oh, there's the steal. The great look by McCaffrey. And there's the bounce pass by Lang. Excellent bounce pass to Leitner. Now look, go give him a hug. Come on, Christian.
Foul on Mackey, his second, the 15 foul against Georgia Tech. The numbers on Leitner.
You know, they stopped Oklahoma. At Oklahoma, broke their 51-game win streak.
Offensive rebound. Follow won't go for him. Davis put it up, made a nice play. Couldn't get the roll. 56-33 Duke. Anderson scoop, got it, and foul. What a play.
Are you serious with that maneuver right there? Are you serious? I mean, you got to jump out of your seat to watch something like that. That maneuver was incredible. I mean, I don't know how many change of directions. He goes around the back. Now he's going to go real low. He keeps the ball down, protects it. Oh, that's just incredible. When he gets into those seams and gaps in the NBA in a transition game, he is going to be a sight to see. Just incredible. I thought the best little guard I've seen on a college level was Isaiah Thomas. But this guy, to me, is a step even above Isaiah.
And he hasn't had a good game tonight at all.
No, he's had a horrendous game for him. I mean,
but we have seen him just absolutely light it up. Lang committed the foul. It was his third. Anderson now has 15. Well, we say he hasn't had a great game. He's probably going to end up with 25 or 30 anyway.
Marty Blake, who I really respect, goes out, the guru, rating players, says he's the best young guard as a point guard it has seen in 40 years.
Palmer. Here comes Barry. Pushing it up.
Nice look.
Mackey. Travel.
Mackey having a tough night tonight. Barry's played well, though. Barry really has done some good things on the floor. And I love his competitive drive. I mean, he's just a fierce competitor.
Mackey only has 4 points tonight, averages 18.
Yeah, they've done a great job of really shutting down Mackey. He's not being active enough. He's not really hungry enough for the ball.
Of course, they're averaging over 90 points a game, too, and they've only scored 36 tonight, so the numbers reflect that.
Well, Duke's done a great job controlling tempo offensively and have executed so well on the defensive end.
McCaffrey guarded by Anderson. Leitner goes outside. Got the roll.
Got the nice little touch, but I love the way he got free to get that shot. His movement without the basketball is excellent.
Leitner with 16, and Anderson just with a whole lot of trouble getting away from Bobby Hurley, who's done a great job on it.
I'll tell you one thing, he's going to earn 25 tonight. And Hurley's really going to sleep well tonight.
Away from the ball, they'll call Palmer with his third foul.
Duke's such a young basketball team, Mike. They're really going to be excellent next year. They're going to get a player next year that's going to be an instant impact player in Cherokee Parks at 6'11". And then they're going to get a lot of help.
Name, isn't it?
And they're going to get a lot of help from another guy from out on the coast by the name of Eric Meek at 6'10 and a half.
DeMalik trying to drive. Can't get inside. Had it knocked away.
DeMalik really hasn't been the player that we anticipated to see here today. He's really been playing well for Georgia Tech, stroking the ball, giving him some good point guard play at times, and moving Kenny Anderson to the number 2 guard slot. There's a little push-off by Anderson. They missed it. Bobby Hurley says, come on, he pushed me.
Boy, Hurley looks like a choir boy, but he won't back down from anything.
That's from Jersey City, baby. They don't back down from anybody down in Jersey City.
Anderson may be getting a little frustrated. Pull-up jumper there, buried it.
He's got that quick release.
Anderson now with 17 points, but the lead is still 20 at 58-38 with 12:50 left.
Well, they just lay a screen on Anderson and bumped him.
Lean-in jumper, Thomas Hill.
Thomas Hill, a good athlete, great legs.
Anderson, nice feed to Geiger.
Good look, good two-man play. Matt Geiger's going to start to contribute like he's capable. He really is a guy with some talent, excellent touch.
Well, he hasn't had the ball very often either. Palmer hesitated, then fired and missed. Offensive rebound again, put up and in. Thomas Hill.
Hill really working on the offensive glass, showing those legs. Got good bounce off the floor.
He's only 6'4", 195 out of Lancaster.
Oh, good steal.
There's the steal, and it comes right back to Damala. Anderson.
See, I think if you chart Kenny Anderson, you have to really chart him in terms of offensively in a half-court game and chart him in a transition game. A lot of times you'll say Bob Hurley played him and he got 30, but he really doesn't get 30 off Bob Hurley. He gets some off the offensive board, some in transition.
Well, he has 19 tonight. Duke working the clock a little bit with 11:39 left in the 20-point lead. Hurley against Damala. Blocking foul.
Well, it's an interesting story. He came to Georgia Tech, recommended by Dennis Scott, his former teammate at Flint Hill. He was like Bobby Cremins told me today. He was a walk-on scholarship. I gave him a scholarship, but I didn't have to go out and chase him, beg him, and plead and recruit him.
62-42, Duke by 20. Back in a moment.
In the next year, I think we as coaches have to come up with a better plan. Because to eliminate a coach from our staff right now, I think would really be detrimental to the game. It would be detrimental to the young men who we are accountable for. I was a graduate assistant for Bob Knight at Indiana. Bobby Cremins was a graduate assistant. We need for young blood to learn the game from the people who are teaching it at this present time.
You know, when I look here, let's look at Jay Billis. He's a graduate assistant. He could be affected by this in '92. But I also think in a current era, when coaches are responsible in the eyes of so many about players graduating, about the drug and alcohol scene, I think, if anything, you got to increase the staff. You need more people working with these young people. And I think for the cost saving there, which is so minute, that will somehow change before it becomes effective.
Dick, I agree with you, but you have to look at cutting costs somewhere, and everybody has their own axe to grind. This will be a travel violation on Thomas Hill.
I'm an absolute dummy. Help me out. You know, I'm a dummy. I have no brains whatsoever. I'm brain dead at times. But please help me out. What happens to the $1 billion? Somebody told me that $1 billion is better than $900 million that the NCAA gets from CBS for the television rights. Why not keep $800 million and give up $200 million back to the kids? They deserve. When are the kids going to get something?
I hate to admit this, but that's a very good question.
I mean, these young people deserve something more than just room, board, and books. They deserve $200 a month for some spend money. They deserve to be able to be flown home once a year. I mean, these kids are putting in 12 months a year. They're highly special. Don't get me on that soapbox.
Last foul was on McCaffrey. McCaffrey goes to the bench with 23 points. He has 3 personals. The lead is 20 with 11:09 to go. Here's the steal. Yeah, Anderson gets it right back. Penetrates and tosses it up with the left hand. Palmer with a rebound. And he is hacked from behind. That foul will go against Georgia Tech, and the reach in by Newbill. And Leitner is slow getting up.
You think of Georgia Tech, you think of the team when Bobby Cremins got Mark Price. Unbelievable. Think about all those rookies of the year. Help me out. I'm going to do this at the top of my head. I may be wrong.
All right.
6 ACC rookies of the year. One had to be Price, number one. Then it was Dalrymple, who's on the bench. Then it was Dwayne Farrell.
Right.
Tommy Hammonds.
Right.
Then it had to be
Kenny Anderson.
Kenny Anderson's 5, but we're missing one. We're missing one. We have Dalrymple, we have Price, we have Farrell, we have Hammonds.
Anderson.
Oh, Dennis Scott. Dennis Scott.
How could you forget that?
Dennis Scott.
10 demerits.
Sorry, Dennis. He's with the Orlando Magic right now, having a typical rookie year, up and down like the Dow Jones stock market.
Free throw, good by Palmer. It's a 21-point lead. I don't think anyone expected this kind of domination tonight.
No, not especially after watching the way Duke played against Virginia when they were blown out by 17. Virginia really showing that they got an experienced team. Jeff Jones doing a great job with them. Only lost twice, but they got blown out. Then they lose Grant Hill for the game. You expect this to be a war.
22 is the biggest lead. Newbill with a strange-looking shot and then commits the foul. Coming over Palmer's back, trying to get the rebound. That's 4 on Newbill.
Ivano's going to have to really work on his offensive game because he's going to have to add a little to his game other than his defensive ability and his ability to rebound.
Newville checks with Bobby Crimmins. He's out of Macon, Georgia. Gained 30 pounds since he played high school ball.
Played at Southwest High School. They produced guys like Eric Manuel, fair player by the Norman Nixon, another fair player by the name of Jeff Malone, who's now doing a heck of a job with the Utah Jazz.
Good night for the Blue Devils. He has 7 points, has played tough inside.
Well, he gave him the big lift with those 2 offensive rebounds.
He's hit 3 for 3 from the line. Geiger will check back in, and Newville will come out for Georgia Tech. Biggest lead of the night, 23 at 65-42. And all of it can be traced to Bobby Hurley's early defense on Kenny Anderson.
Yeah, right.
McCaffrey shooting.
Right from the first minute, he's established immediately that Kenny Anderson was going to have tremendous work ethic to try and score off him tonight. And he's still playing him tough. Anderson
does have 19 points, but it's 66-42. Blocked inside, guess who? Palmer. And he gets it back almost. Barry knocked it away.
That would have been a great play by Palmer to block the shot, little rejection city, and then fill the lane and get the jam. Crawford's really played well tonight.
He's a junior. 10:27 to go in this game from a sold-out Cameron Indoor Stadium, and it's been Duke all the way. They lead Georgia Tech 66-42. Mike Patrick and Dick Vitale with you.
Duke right now going to try to establish a little backdoor cut. They're not going to really hold the ball, but they're going to their foul line extended offense, trying to look for some backdoor cuts.
And it looks like both teams will go to 1-1 on the.
There it is. Oh, he missed them. It had a backdoor cut.
Early foul by Geiger, who comes out after it. Geiger was really a surprise. I mean, he played 2 years at Auburn, played well. Bobby Crimmins never expected this to happen, and he has a 7-footer walk over to his campus.
Well, yeah, he almost went to Villanova, but he transferred because he really enjoyed playing for Sonny Smith, and when Sonny left, I mean, you got to like this guy. This guy is so special. If you get to know him, what a great personality. He's great attitude. Heck of a tennis player, too. A fierce competitor on a tennis court.
I'll tell you what, you have so much respect for a guy like Crimmins and a guy like Krzyzewski. They have both done genuinely brilliant jobs with their programs, both quality and quantity. I mean, they get great kids who graduate, play hard, play well, compete for national championships. You can't ask anything else, Dick.
That's the way to run a program. I'll tell you, you know, the amazing thing is when you look at Mike and you look at Bobby, both guys, Bobby comes from Appalachian State, certainly not a big name, but they recognize Homer Rice, that he has great potential. They listen to Frank McGuire, his mentor, and they give him a chance. Mike Krzyzewski, they listen to Bobby Knight, and Tom Butters gives him a chance after coming from West Point.
Good play by Barry to knock it away. Anderson with a 3-on-2 will try to take it himself and got it. No call on the contact.
He's so physically tough. That's what Mike was talking about today. He said when he had him with the U.S. national team, the guy would play in pain. He said, don't believe that nonsense that his body can't take a pounding in the NBA. He said he'll take a pounding.
He has 21 of Georgia Tech's 44. And it looks like both teams will go to 1-1. Georgia Tech had beaten Wake Forest. Duke had lost to Virginia in the ACC.
See, they're trying to set them up for a good backdoor cut, trying to get a good angle, using some shot clock. They release, using the postman, stepping out. Leighton is such an excellent passer.
Now, Dick, there will be people who say, why do you do this? You're up 24 points with 9 minutes to go. They need to work on this.
Well, they need to work on it, number one. But number two, it's not a freeze, Mike. It's a high percentage offense.
Davis, as the crowd counted down the shot clock, makes it a 26-point lead. Demolik has been cold from the outside, and Leitner with another rebound.
Well, Bobby Crimmins, I'm sure the bus is warmed up outside. Let's go back to Atlanta. Let's regroup.
Hill missed the reverse. Davis with a rebound. No shot. He's fouled.
They're just getting whipped, baby. They're getting absolutely whipped.
And Barry went down, grabbing his leg. Well, he's got that look that his dad had, doesn't he?
I'll tell you one thing. His dad was such a great player. You talk about shooting the ball, but I used to love the way he passed. Oh, there's a look at Barry right now. Let's see what happens here. Turn that ankle.
He grabbed the knee. It looked like the ankle did turn. He's walking quite well as he goes to the bench. He committed the foul. It was his third.
We're so high up, Mike. It's so difficult. You're standing up. It's like doing a football game where they have us up here. That's not fair. I got to tell Krzyzewski, that's not fair. I got one eye. They can't do that to me. I mean, that's incredible. That's totally unfair.
Dick, there are worse things that have happened to us.
You better believe that.
3 for 3 from the line for Davis. 11 points, make it 12. He's had a fine game off the bench.
Yeah, he's done a solid job getting a start again after losing his starting role after the first game. Gets a start tonight, has responded in a positive fashion.
Really known more for his defense.
There it is. Good defensive steal. Good anticipation.
Chased the ball boys off the court, and he is fouled by Kenny Anderson.
They're doing a great job reading the offensive.
No foul, excuse me.
They're reading the offensive passes of the Georgia Tech team. They're stepping right into the passing lane. Watch right now. Telegraph time. Here's Kenny now going to flip it out. There's the anticipation. He reads it well. There's the quickness of Kenny Anderson getting back. So I get a little ball.
72-44.
Yes, my friends, and that is not a misprint.
8:20 to go in the game. And Duke in its spread offense.
Spread offense up high. Foul line extended, so he can't give a lot of help.
McCaffrey and Hill are running it because Hurley is not in the ballgame right now.
And then they'll step out either Palmer. They use their post guy as a release man. Kamala trying to put some pressure on the ball. Then they go into a set play. See, they go into the spread. Now they go to a little 1-4, little isolation.
McCaffrey with a hanger. Billy McCaffrey with another career high, 25 points.
They're really executing well, Duke.
Bad pass, out of bounds to Duke.
Put this one in a bottle and put it away, Mr. Krzyzewski, Mr. K. Tuck this away. Your mentor would be mighty proud of you.
7:43 left. The lead has grown to 30.
I'm Tom Mees. Join Gary Miller and me for SportsCenter right after the ACC basketball game tonight. We'll have all the college basketball action, the NHL as well, and a big showdown in pro hoops as Milwaukee visits the Celtics in Boston Garden. All this and much more in the hour-long SportsCenter right after the game.
Well, if you just tuned in, you have missed a 30-point blowout so far as Duke took the lead early and has been expanding it ever since. More college basketball coming your way on Big Monday. Georgetown against Villanova. Mike Gorman and Bill Raftery will bring you that game at 7:30 Eastern on Monday night. Then Dick and I will be at Purdue, and Indiana comes calling a 9:30 Eastern game. And then New Mexico State against Fresno State. That's at midnight Eastern. Barry Tompkins and Quinn Buckner will be out there to bring you that game. Dick, I think one of the most interesting things about this is that Georgia Tech had lost 3 games this year by a total of 5 points, and tonight they're being killed.
They're being blown out, and they've won 6 in a row. Lost the heartbreaker to St. John's in that Big East ACC matchup. This is humble time, baby. You go back to the gym tomorrow, you regroup, you start to say, wow, we're not that good. We better start working.
Well, it's a very inexperienced Georgia Tech team, as it is for Duke.
Well, they lost a lot of people. They really had to reload.
Hill to McCaffrey. Anderson tries to steal the ball and doesn't like the call. That's 4 on Kenny Anderson. And you can see the frustration coming out of that young man.
And he's still smiling, though. He knows they're being blown out. Look at Kenny right now. He's going to bug him. He's going to bug him. Here he is. He steps in. He's going to bug him. Look at Kenny. Tackles him. He says, hey, I'm going to play for Bobby Ross. I'm going to play for the Rambler Rack. I'm going to be a defensive back. He wants to jump ball. First guy to tell me about Kenny Anderson was a guy by the name of Al Menendez. Al Menendez is like a gym rat. He's an unbelievable scout. He now works with the Indiana Pacers. He was working with the New Jersey Nets. He worked for me when I was with the Pistons. And he said to me at that time, he said, put it down, Kenny Anderson. Remember the name. He was like a 9th grader. He said, he will be an ultimate superstar. Hats off, Mr. Menendez. You are right on the money.
27 for McCaffrey, and it's 76-44. Geiger just hasn't touched the ball a whole lot down low. Mackey offensive rebound.
That was an excellent offensive rebound by Mackey. Mackey's going to be a special player. He really is. He's got good tools, good touch inside, big, strong, physical.
neither one of these coaches wants to lose a game, but they tend to use season games to prepare for later. Davis with a runner from the baseline. Fine performance tonight by Brian Davis.
He's earning some PT, baby. He's earning some playing time.
He has 14 points tonight. It's 78-46. Barry, who seems to recover from that leg injury, double clutches, gives to Geiger, powers his way in, and missed again. Good job by Crawford Palmer.
That Geiger doesn't have really the rhythm, and he's not in sync. He doesn't look like the player that I saw when he played at Auburn. I had him on some really big nights.
Hill tries to go baseline, had his pocket picked, but it's out of bounds to Duke.
He had 7 games where he scored more than 20 points in an Auburn uniform, and that's in a tough SEC. I mean, it wasn't against Cupcake City.
Hurley comes back into the ball game. Kubek also checks in.
Bobby played for that great St. Anthony's team, hooked up with Terry DeHare. What a year he's having for Seton Hall. Mr. Walker also played with him, who plays for Seton Hall.
Bad pass. Geiger will come out with it. Ahead. Nice pass to Barry. Missed the shot. Mackey tried to tip it in, had it knocked out of bounds, and it's out to Duke.
Looks like Mackey saying himself, the only way I'm going to get any kind of shots, I better get on the offensive boards.
5:52 to go in this one. Duke big, 78-46.
And if you're Bobby Cremins, you're just simply saying, please clock move, please move, let us get home, let me get to Atlanta, let me get back to Georgia.
They just prefer no timeouts, no balls out of bounds, no free throws, just run it. Spread offense, Leitner to Kubek.
He can shoot it.
Oh, when he goes cold, he goes cold.
He really does. He's really a streak shooter. Came out with a great reputation as a perimeter shooter.
Anderson is going to see Bobby Hurley in his dreams tonight. Bad pass taken away.
Easiest deuce of the night for Mr. McCaffrey. They're really just
McCaffrey has 29 points.
They're just giving him a big whipping, baby. They're just whipping him in every game, phase of the game.
Barry, double team, had it taken away, got it back, taken away again.
That's part of their game plan also. Attack the other people other than Kenny Anderson because they're not accustomed to handling the basketball. Pressure them, get right in their face, and that's what they're doing here tonight.
Since Bobby Cremins' first year at Georgia Tech, I have not seen one of his teams dominated like this. They are just being pounded.
Usually in the ACC, battles like this are really tough, hard-nosed battles.
Leitner. Boy, when it goes right, it goes right.
Well, great cut by Leitner again, moving without the basketball, something he excels at. Flashes to the ball.
Leitner, who averages 20 and a half, has 18. Anderson, got it.
He's got that excellent baseline, quick little jumper.
Anderson has 23, nearing his season's average. But he was ineffective when the game was still close. And Hurley just blew by him that time.
He was very ineffective right there. A little change in direction. Bobby Hurley goes in for the little deuce.
Anderson double team, and he's fouled.
McCaffrey. You talk about looking like a Boy Scout. You look at McCaffrey and Hurley. I mean, look at these two guys playing big-time major college basketball and winning also. Not a bad night for Mr. McCaffrey.
Looks like they're set to go on a camping trip, you know?
Yeah, really do. Look at Billy. Now he's coaching. He's saying, look, Marty, this is what you do. Now Billy waits a while. He knows he's going to get the standing O. Here it goes. Standing ovation. I got to do that warm-up, Jackie.
3:53 left to go in the game, and Duke has gone deep to its bench. Number 3, Marty Clark. Number 54, Christian Ast. A-S-T is in the game. DeMalik has had no luck from long range at all tonight.
And he's an excellent shooter. He really is. Just call up the people at Wake Forest where he drilled 3. Hey, mention of Wake Forest, they got beat tonight by Colorado and Joey Harrington. What a great win for the Buffs.
My former golf partner.
Oh, he's a beautiful guy. I'll tell you one thing. There's a guy that did a great job at Long Beach State. Did a solid job before he went there, George Mason, and then also with Lefty Drizel at Maryland. You're going to remember that name and hear it a lot. Joey Harrington, Colorado.
Billy McCaffrey now out of the ball game for Duke. 12 of 19 from the field, 4 steals, 3 assists, no turnovers. Some night from McCaffrey.
Yay! Yay!
Malik finally hits one.
The scouting report, that's all I heard about. Domalik, Domalik. It's great when you're the underdog. You walk on as a walk-on scholarship kind of guy, and everybody roots for you. Here, Kenny Anderson, you can't make a mistake. People say, oh, he's not a superstar.
Asked with a baseline jumper on the feed from Hurley. 86-51. Are you kidding?
Christian with that little baseline jump shot.
Kenny Anderson still not out of the ballgame. Forced it up, but the follow is good by James Munlin, who's in for the first time. The big senior who has had a real up-and-down career at Georgia Tech.
Yeah, Munlin really hasn't been the player they anticipated him to be. He's from out of Aiken, South Carolina. 7-footer, is very agile. He's a mobile big guy.
Bad pass, saved. Clark is the guy the fans root for. They want to see Clark make a bucket. Hurley for 3.
Hurley says it's time for me to work on my perimeter shot.
Well, I tell you, 89-53.
He was a better shooter in high school than he has shown on a collegiate level. And I think a lot of it has been just the mental process. So you pick up the dribble, pressure the ball. Duke works on that all the time. As soon as you lock up, pick up that dribble, and they try to bother you, not allow you to get good vision in making your pass.
Hill, who has been no factor. Anderson, offensive rebound, puts it in.
This is statistic time right now. They got to be careful. You know, if you're Bobby Cremage, you got to say, hey, do I take a chance for an injury right now? We're down 34. I got to get Anderson out of here and play someone else.
Anderson has 25. Crowd yells at Clark whenever he touches the ball.
Can you imagine Anderson getting hurt, turning an ankle or something in a situation like this?
Hurley with another 3, and it's 92-55.
See, Bobby's relaxed right now. He's in a relaxed environment.
Duke averaging 92.9 points a game, and now he will take Kenny Anderson out.
He must have hurt us. He must have hurt us from up here. Good move by Bobby. Don't worry, my friends. That is one special player you're looking at. You have to believe he's an all Rolls-Roycer. He's a flat-out superstar.
Only a minute 48 left to go, and it's Duke 92, Georgia Tech 55. 1:48 left. Duke 92, Georgia Tech 55.
There was some sad news around the Duke campus today, Mike. Jackie Schenkel, they had a funeral for her. She's an administrative assistant for the Iron Dukes with the athletic department for 35 years. And she was a liaison between the athletic department and the supporters. And she was 58 years of age, worked here when she started at 20. And I know Mike and all the people in the office went to the funeral today, and they were really crushed because she was one beautiful lady. We certainly sent our sympathies
to her family and all the Duke family here in Durham. Duke still playing very hard, very aggressive defense. There's another steal, this one by Hill.
They really have done a great job in anticipating and scouting.
Clark throws that one away. Here's Newbill. Domalik.
Duke really worked today in practice on charting and analyzing the maneuvers of Georgia Tech, and I think their players really have responded so positively. Look at Marty.
Marty Clark out of Westchester, Illinois.
He went to the same high school that produced the fair player in Indiana in 1981 that won a national championship by the name of Isaiah. There aren't many players you can refer to by their first name.
No. Domalik keeps firing. Boyle up the arm. It's 94-55 under 45 seconds to go. And that's Brian Davis.
See, they're so relaxed now. They're shooting the ball with such confidence. It's like a practice situation.
Munlin tried to feed inside, taken away again by Davis.
They're going to try to get on 100. That's a good look inside. Ass says, look, coach, give me some PT, Coach K. Give me some. Mike's saying, is this the team that played against Virginia?
That was a game they could not protect the ball at all.
Well, Crotty and Stiff played so well, and Oliver was brilliant in that game.
DeMalik tries the three again, and Mackey puts it in with 2 seconds left. Duke, in a show of sportsmanship, will pick up the ball and not even try to score again.
Look at Bobby. He shakes hands really quickly. He can't wait to get to the locker room. He can't wait to get to the locker room.
Impressive performance by Duke, and we go back especially on defense.
Oh, they started right out of the gate. The tremendous pressure by Bob Hurley, staying in front at all times of Kenny Anderson and making him have to work so hard. A simple philosophy, as we talked about, it is containment. Beat him to a spot, drive him to the spot, and tonight it started with defense, and it led to the big blowout, 41-point margin.
The biggest winning margin in the history of this series between Duke and Georgia Tech. The final again, 98-57 Duke. For Dick Vitale and our entire ESPN crew, this is